If you want a way to organize your thoughts, remember stuff and retrieve that stuff that you might have thought about some time back, or a way to have clarity of thought, a way to reduce anxiety, a way to also problem solve. If there was one way to do all this, journaling would be the way. So journaling definitely is really important. That has so many benefits that I don't have enough time to share in this video, but I will share how I'm using journaling to help level up my life in so many areas. So let's jump right in. So my name's Joseph Ofaya, and I am basically documenting my life on how I'm trying to level up as an introvert, as an INFP to be specific. So if you find these videos helpful, this such content helpful, follow along as I share some of the stuff that I am learning as I go along the way. So I'm sure at one point or the other, all of us have tried to journal in some form or the other. So this has led for many to be a futile endeavor because you end up being inconsistent. It's first of all a drag to actually do it, and for others it might just feels unnatural and nerdy. So at the end of the day, you find yourself not getting the actual benefits of journaling that we have read about or heard about. So today I'll share a few tips on how I'm trying to get the best out of journaling, which I have already seen results. I've been journaling fairly consistently for the year so far. This is about, we're in August as the time of this recording. So this has been about 8 months fairly consistently, and I can attest to say that I'm reaping the benefits of journaling. So with all the benefits of journaling, it would be a shame and it would just be plain wasteful for you not to reap the benefits of this ancient art. So hopefully you'll pick up one or two things that will help you level up your life through journaling. All right, so there are many forms of journaling, and definitely beyond the scope of this video, I'll just share three of the ones that the three formats that I am using to help level up my journaling. Once again, there are two journals that I do in the morning. There's a journal that I do in the evening, and there's a quarterly journal. One challenge that most people face while journaling is trying to have a different format and a different structure every time they try to journal. To get the most out of journaling is to try and structure your journaling, at least in the beginning. Structure what you write about every time that you sit down to journal, and also give it a time frame. Every time that I journal, I try and strictly give myself some time, not too long, just a very short time, to quickly write down, go through the structure of my journal, and write what I am thinking, and answering the prompts as you will see as we go on. So these are the two constraints that will really help you level up your journaling. So that's having some form of a structure, and secondly, making sure that it is your journaling session is bound within a particular time. So for the morning routine, I have two to journal. So the first being just basically a mind dump. So I basically write down the thoughts that I have from either the previous night or just as I wake up. So I write them down on a piece of paper or in a journal or in my phone, or sometimes I'll just do a voice note. So this is just to help clear my mind from any residue thoughts, or from any thoughts, basically, to basically just write them down. The time limit for this is just 2 minutes. So quickly write down. I quickly write down the thoughts that I have from the previous night, and it ends there. I'll revisit those thoughts at some points, that those things that I've written down, and if they need to be expanded on, if they need to be acted upon, I will go ahead and do that. But it's just good to clear your mind as you begin. The second journal or prompt that I have in the morning is something that I ripped out of Dickie Bush. So yeah, if you don't know Dickie Bush, he writes a lot about, he does a lot of content about writing and journaling and all that stuff. You can follow him, link in the description. So he calls this the daily morning kickstart, and you basically ask yourself a couple of questions that would give some form of structure to your day as you start. So the prompts that Dicky shares, or that I got from Dicky, are as follows. So the first is, what's the one thing that I'm grateful for? So the world is a crazy place, and there's a lot happen. There's a lot that happens in the world. So it's so easy sometimes to get carried away with the negatives of life. So I think this prompt helps me uh, to remain grateful for even the small little things. Then the next one is, what thing am I excited about for today? So that helps you go in the day with some form of excitement, to know that there's something that I am looking forward to. The next one is, what virtue do I want to exhibit? So it's important as humans, as a person, to know what kind of person, to know what type of person you want to become. So it's a good reminder to just write it down that I want to become this kind of a person, and you each morning you remind yourself on the kind of person that you want to become. So like, could it either be a person of integrity, a person who sticks to time, and you can basically put anything that you would want to be, the kind of person that you would want to be. So the next prompt is, what's one thing that I'm trying to avoid? So this is like the opposite of the previous prompt. This is speaking into the person that you do not want to become. So it's just a reminder to yourself that I do not want to become a person um, who's corrupt, or a person who is always late for appointments, or a person who lies, and you can put whatever negative thing that you do not want to become. So that's the next prompt. The last prompt is, what's one thing that I need to do today? So this is basically speaking into the most important thing, the most important activity of the day. Okay, so as people, let me speak to myself. I often find myself trying to do too many things at once. I have a list of all the things that I in my mind that I want to achieve for that day. And 9 out of the 10 times, I never achieve even three or two or even one of those things, because I have spread myself too thin, and I'm trying to do too many things at once. So this prompt basically reminds us to keep the one thing, the one thing. So in my mind, I think if I could only do one thing for this particular day, what would that one thing be? So that's the one thing that I would put there, so that if all fails, I am able to do that particular thing. So those are the prompts for the morning kickstart. So once again, the idea here is to make it brief. This can be done in about 5 minutes. The secret is to quickly is to not overthink it, and to make sure that on all those prompts you just give it one, you just answer one, you just answer it in one sentence, and within the time frame of 5 minutes. So the next session is the evening session, where spend about the same time as the morning, the daily kickstart. And the essence of this session is to recollect on what has happened throughout the day. Life gets really busy, and it's so easy to just flow from one day to the other without properly recollecting and reflecting on what's happening in your life. So this session helps me to basically recollect and ensure that I am consciously living from one day to the other. So the prompts that I use for the evening session are as follows. So I basically go through what my biggest wins of the day are. I run through what has happened throughout the day and see, okay, what progress have I made? What are the biggest wins? And I just write it down. Then I go to what major realization that I had for that particular day. So once again, life is so dynamic, and there are a lot of stuff that happens in life. So maybe uh, I shouted at an employee at so maybe I shouted at a colleague of mine, or maybe I said something I didn't want to say, or different situations that happen in life. So it's good to just go through and remember those realizations that you had for that particular day, so that if it's both negative and positive, so if it's negative, you'll find out, okay, it will help at least make you realize that there's something that you need to adjust, or there's something that you need um, to change. If it's positive, it will help you realize that, okay, I need to keep on doing this positive thing, and so on and so forth. The next prompt is what's on the agenda for tomorrow. So this helps sort of plan for, in a nutshell, for the next day. So this will help you uh, basically prepare for the next day. So I write down on what the overall plan, or the the major activity for tomorrow, so that, yeah, if there are any preparations that I need to do before, um, and can begin that night, and it can be done, and so on and so forth. So now to my favorite kind of journal. So this speaks into the quarterly challenge. So this journal basically comes from the fact that life moves, whether you like it or not, whether you are making the most out of it or not. Time will pass you by, will pass us all by. So to make the most out of life, and ensure that you are consciously consciously making progress towards different goals and stuff that you have planned for your life, it's a good way. This journal, or this structure of a journal, will helps me to keep track of um, keep track of life, and ensuring that I'm on top of things as much as possible, so that when I look at my life after 3 months, I would have able to review and say, okay, this is what I had planned, and this is how much progress I've made, and all that. There are basically three prompts that I use for this journal. The first being, what change do I want to see in the next 3 months, in the next 90 days, in the next quarter, however you see it. So what change do I want to see? So you can list about three changes. I list about three. The temptation is to list so many changes that you want to see, because definitely we all want to see some change in one form or the other. But I think I read somewhere that the human brain can only concentrate, or yeah, can only concentrate on about three things at a particular time. So I write down the three things that I want to see for the quarter. Is it to do with health? Is it to do with finances? Is it to do with learning and all that stuff? So you can put three, uh, three of the things that you want to make a difference on. So the next section of this journal is the why. Why do you want to make these changes? Things get discouraging sometimes. Yeah, we are not always consistent on the things that we want to change. Going to the gym every day, or however times a week, is tough. Sometimes when it to be cold, sometimes when you don't feel like it. But I think once you know your why, it's easier to jump over those hurdles when they come. So your whys are very, very important, and it's good to list as many whys as you can, so that it's a constant reminder for you to push towards those goals that you have. So the next step is to break down some critical actions that you will do daily or weekly that will push you towards these goals that you have set for the quarter. So here I'll write down if it's probably going to the gym 3 times a week. If you're writing a book, if it's somebody writing a book, that would be, say, write a page of content every other day to ensure that at the end of the month or something like that, you have something to work on. So it's basically a breakdown of actions that you will carry out to help you, that will build into the goals that you have set, or the challenges that you have set for yourself for that particular quarter. So to make sure that you have some form of accountability, you can do this with somebody. If you have a friend that you would want, or an accountability partner of some sort, a wife, a husband, this can help, so that you have somebody to keep you accountable. And there are many ways that you can help yourself be consistent as you journal. One way that I use, or that I used earlier on, was to cancel out on a calendar each day that I journal. So if I journal a particular day, I'll basically cross out that day, and this would help me. This would help me push, so that I keep the cancellations consistent. Yeah, so you can find other creative ways of keeping yourself accountable to journaling every day. So definitely journaling has so many advantages, and will improve your productivity, your clarity of mind. It gives you a push to say to yourself, to think to yourself, what am I thinking? And it puts you put those thoughts on a piece of paper that you can review later, and all that. So if you don't journal, well, you remain basically at the where you are right now, and not have been taken advantage of a simple 5-minute discipline that could probably change your life. So in the description, I have a newsletter that I wrote about the same thing, which goes in a few more details, and which also hopefully clarifies a few things that I might not have spoken about in this video. So check it out in the description below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.